Excuse me if I cough. I'm having a little bit of a coughing issue this morning. um, I was making a video that was supposed to be longer, and again, I had computer issues this morning. I apologize. But here's an upper level water vapor loop that I show every day. Um, uh, Upper level low pressure right off the coast of the southeast, with a small perturbation on the flow. Upper level feature due to the flow, which is enhancing. Looks like a short wave, enhancing some precip and storms in that area. And there's a cold front draped across this area, which will bring the chance of severe weather, marginal risk, which is highlighted by the this view. The SPC, Storm Prediction Center, marginal risk of severe weather, and a broad area from basically Mississippi. Most of the states east of the Mississippi are under the risk of severe winds today. 5% chance in that area, 5% in upper Midwest, and 50% right along the Mid-Atlantic coast. And as this front progresses south, it's going to slow down and stall somewhere in this area here. And what's going to happen to the flow? You can look at this. This is a upper level flow represented on a forecast map. Same kind of thing, but it's more just showing colors based on speed, wind speed, and different heights and things like that. The upper level low you see off to the west, east there, where the coastline kind of fills in over time. We see this trough kind of pinch off with high pressure in the center of the country, and the broad southwesterly flow. And you can see the split flow developing out west here. And what this does, and Levi Cohen from Tropical Tidbits talked about this yesterday. He has a PhD in meteorology. He knows a lot more than I do, but this flow kind of pinches off here and leaves whatever energy behind. This is about in our area of interest in time frame in Florida, and this is upper level low here, and how that reflected the surface, we'll just have to see. Go through time, the 925 millibars, which is near the surface. We can go back to the surface precip surface pressure, go out to the 6. You see the European model keeps hinting at maybe something right over here, but I never really maybe something out here. We'll just have to see how that plays out. So, storms yesterday, there was not a lot to talk about, really. Hail, one tornado, wow, and right off the coast here, near the coastline of the Mid-Atlantic. Different hail and wind threats, but nothing too significant. Of course, if you live in an area where you're impacted, I'm sure it was for you, but overall in the southeast there wasn't much going on. As far as current hazards go, flood watch. I'll bring up the legend here. Flood watch in this area. Some flood warnings, flash flood warnings. Just east west of the Mississippi here. That's in the purple area. That's kind of flood warnings, flood watches, flash flood warnings, flash flood watch down here in south West Texas. These are all heat related advisories and fire weather watches. And I have the radar pulled up here as well. You can see more extensive precip going on in the along the Gulf Coast right here, which is going to continue regardless of tropical development. It will shift southeastward. The focus will be more along the west coast of Florida over time. Uh, Surface fronts. This is a surface front draped across this area right here. And I'm just going to pull up the surface fronts over the next couple days and giving an idea where they're going to move through. And you're used to seeing this on maps, so you have your cold front right here, which we talked about, warm front up to the north here, different complex low pressure systems up in Canada. Day 2, front makes some progress with a surface trough along the spine of the Appalachians here, just to the east of it, which isn't uncommon either. It's interaction with the terrain and other things that cause this to happen sometimes. And then for day 3, front kind of stalls out right here, but eventually it's forecast to move in the Gulf of Mexico vicinity, stall out. And this time of year, in the tropics, this is a favorite area for development, even though it's not heavily favored, but front stall out, make it this far, and they stall out, and then they dissipate, and vorticity forms along in an area. And if it can stay focused and there's not a lot of wind shear or dry air, then it could develop into something. So that's what the National Hurricane Center is looking at. So as far as precip goes over the next several days, we're looking at the possibility of, when I show, I have it on a 1/4 of an inch chances. You can see squarely this front making progress, and the focus is of course east of the front and on a return flow up in the desert in West Texas, like we talked about. This isn't uncommon to get rain this time of year. The monsoon season's kicking in with a flow coming up this way, bringing moisture. Storms develop along the high terrain and move into Arizona and drop heavy rain. As time goes on, the focus moves further south of our area, but stays in Florida. You can see the focus moves to the central west coast of Florida, Tampa Bay, Clearwater, areas like that, St. Petersburg, Sarasota. This is Friday, July 4th. Don't have anything further than that. Let's take a look at the flood outlooks. We can Elevation Center forecast, precip hazards, excessive rainfall. They have a moderate risk in the mid-Atlantic for today, which is a slight risk in the wide area all the way up down New York, all from the spine of the Appalachians, which Appalachians, when you get the right kind of flow, can enhance the lift. And of course, we have a lot of moisture in place and training of storms, flooding can occur. And this is not insignificant. Frederick, Baltimore, Washington, D.C., right on the edge of Philadelphia, but a wide swath here for today. Day 2. Flood risk moves further south with a focus along the North Carolina coastline, Virginia, and marginal risk in these other areas. Day 3. Of course, we talked about Florida before, but that's not a surprise. Day 4. Marginal risk or excessive rainfall in these areas, still in Florida. Day 5. Still in Florida. And on the upper Midwest, Great Lakes. And the day 3 to 7 precip outlook, they're showing the possibility of heavy rain, which we talked about in Florida here again, western Texas, eastern New Mexico, and up in upper Midwest, Minnesota area. And day 8 to 14, precip hazards. Really only showing flooding possible out here in Mexico, Arizona area again, as a result of the monsoon trough and flow, maybe from the remnants of this Hurricane Flossie right now that may end up moving. The moisture may end up coming back into here and enhancing the rainfall in the coming days. So that's the precip chances and what they think is going to be happening. So the main focus is, of course, excessive rainfall in Florida, especially on the West Coast in the next week or so. So that being said, let's talk about the tropical possibility of tropical development that everybody's hearing about. Still at 20% as I'm recording this at 5 a.m. The next update will come out about, I think, 8 a.m. this morning. I kind of doubt it's going to be up to any percentage, maybe 30%. But based on what the models are showing right now, I wanted to go through these real quick. This is an interactive display from Google. Has interesting. This wasn't here last time I looked at it. It's showing the possibility of a couple lows developing now on July 6th, with a possibility of one. Wow. Okay. Anyway, this is a little more significant than the last time I just looked at this about 20 minutes ago. It wasn't here. A lot more clustering of different models here, and they're actually agreeing enough to show the potential for low development here or out here. This is for tropical depression. The next by July 8th. And you can see they're more tightly clustered than they were. These different models are the Google experimental models, what's observed, and the European model. And these Google AI and different models that they are experimenting with have shown to be more accurate than the um, even the European or the GFS model, just because it's a AI learning model and it learns from um, other models and uses other, algorithms, of course, to ingest all the information and assimilate it and put it on maps that we can see. So maybe by looking at this, they will bump the chances up a little higher at the 8 a.m. outlook. I guess we'll see. Um, anyway, regardless of that, if something does develop off the southeast coast here, we could end up seeing enhanced rainfall rates wherever this sets up, if it does. Um, I wouldn't worry just yet. Let's just keep an eye on it. This is 5 days away, and typically this time of year, I'm going to show here. Go to tropical cyclone points of origin for July. This is a favorite area for development. You can see the majority of tropical cyclones or subtropical cyclones develop in the Caribbean along the East Coast, with a few out here, and there's a lot more developed in the East Pacific during this time. And this kind of jives with climatology. This I showed this yesterday on social media, but um, ramps up through July, August, September, peaks. Hurricanes and tropical systems peak numbers of storms per 100 years occurs right in the middle of September. Pacific has a lot broader, a lot different peaks and a lot broader, a lot more storms over a broader period of time. Their season is May through December. Um, Atlantic is typically, wait a minute, I think Pacific is May through November, and Atlantic is June through November, if I remember right. So I want to show this too. Atlantic tropical storms, like this kind of show, gives you an idea of named storms per 100 years that develop in these areas. So this really shows like the approximate number of storms passed within 150 miles of a location, normalized for 100 years, so 10% chance, 10 to 30% chance of a storm passing within that. Hurricanes, small area here. So if you're worried about a hurricane in Florida, um, this time of year, it's quite unlikely, but not impossible. For July, that's in June. For July, you can see probabilities increase and they start to shift further east for tropical storms, and you can see, although there's an increase in hurricane formation and possibilities, like area scope, the percentage really hasn't increased. It really ramps up in August. You can see here it shifts further east. Tropical storms, hurricanes, same thing. September, you see tropical storms pretty much anywhere in the tropical Atlantic except for these areas here. Hurricanes, less focused, but the same areas. You get the general idea. Um, Again, what I'm trying to say is this time of year, the chances of a major hurricane hitting any part of the U.S. is very small. but that doesn't mean that we're not going to be impacted by flooding rain somewhere, and that's the biggest threat with storms anyway. Flooding rains, and, and weak systems can often impact areas a lot more just from flooding rains than anything else, just because they sit over one area. Um, so the enhanced moisture and a stalling system is more of a problem than anything else this time of year. So the overall feeling for me right now about tropical development is based on what I'm seeing recently is the chances are going to be increased some with the next outlook. How much that is, I don't know. Really, you have to watch for model trends, and this is only one model run, but it definitely is showing some increase in confidence that something may form in these areas. As far as today's weather, let's look at the what the one of the short range convecting models thinks for precip today. Let's go to the forecast loop and move back one around. You see, for our area, really, rain chances don't really increase um, until the end of the period. Basically 18 hours from now. If you kind of will zoom in to here and go through time, 10 a.m., 12 a.m. Not till late afternoon, early evening. Maybe you get some storms coming through as the trough front moves closer by 8 p.m. maybe. So, you know, we may get storms that form quick sooner than that, but we'll just have to see. But over the coming days, there's going to be rain and pretty much every day, a good chance every day. But does that mean it's going to happen right over Warner Robins or Macon? Not necessarily, but the chances you will see precip sometime during the day are pretty likely. Anyway, I'm going to keep you updated on the tropics. I think that's the most important thing right now, and flooding possibilities in Florida. And I hope you all have a great day.